now.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
we got some technical difficulties. I don't know what in the hell's going on with my board. My whole live stream has been jacked up. Can you guys even hear me? I went live a second ago and nothing was going on. Nothing was going on. I'm trying to see if I'm even live right now because things weren't working earlier. Let's see if we're live. Let me go in. Yeah, we're live. Okay, thank God. Before it wasn't working. All right, here we go. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Hopkins out 4 to 6 weeks, and Calvin Ridley's value goes up a ton. The question is, will it go up too much that it's not even like it gets oversaturated, or are we going to see everybody just scooping up Ridley left and right because Hopkins is on the pine for 4 to 6 weeks? And what does it turn into? Hopkins is an older player. Ziggy, how old is DeAndre Hopkins?
DeAndre Hopkins is 32 years old.
32 years old.
On June 6, 1992.
32 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the writing was on the wall for this. I know everybody wants to pretend that even like Derrick Henry isn't subject to injury this year. I'm starting to question the Derrick Henry rankings. I'm starting to question the Derrick Henry expectations. He's 30 years old. Hopkins, 31 years old. Devontae Adams getting up there. It's time to just go toward the younger player that has the less likelihood of getting injured. Hopkins, this writing was on the wall. Ridley's season is in full effect, but again, Ziggy, shut up! He just continues to talk over here in the corner. You're worthless, Ziggy. We're going to open the phone lines. This news is going to be something that I think sparks a very, very, very heavy trend of reaching on Ridley. And at what point does it become stay away material? At what point do you say, I'm in, because Ridley's going to catch so many passes over in Tennessee where it's said to be looking pretty good. And even Hopkins said he's playing with the best overall team he's ever played with, which was a pretty big compliment to the Tennessee Titans. I don't know if I buy it, but this is a team that's looking pretty good. They have a little bit better team than we thought. But losing Hopkins might be a real big kick to the nutsack in terms of that expectation. But if they're losing, they're throwing. And if Ridley's the main guy and he's good at getting every single type of throw, headed in his direction, he's used to stretching the field. He did it for the Jaguars. He's used to catching short passes. He's quick. He's speedy. He still looks like he's fast. He's not the most, I would say, locked in player to play 17 games, though. He's also not a spring chicken, but he's a lot younger than Hopkins. Ziggy, how old is Calvin Ridley?
Calvin Ridley is 29 years old.
29.
And was born on December 20th, 1990.
So he turns 30 during the season. So it's not like this is an absolute home run either. But 29, I think he's got the one more year left. I think we go not all in necessarily, but we start poking at this thing and we start trying to realize where the sweet spot is for his ADP. Is it round 5? Because I think he's going to climb at least around 5. If people start paying like end of 4 round value, I'm probably out because there are just so many other players I like better. And I'm taking guys like Mahomes and Tank Dell and all those guys. But when you get into like mid 5, we'll take a look at it. It looks pretty attractive. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in and we'll take a look at where we would potentially grab this kid. I don't know. But Hopkins not looking good. 32-year-old player walking into the 2024 season. There was no chance of him being healthy. And who knows how long it takes him to come back from this. Who knows if he ends up tripping up again, having a setback. There's no guarantee that in 4 to 6 weeks he'll be healthy. You don't know. At his age, the body recovers and repairs differently and recuperates differently. This could be one of those things where Cooper Kupp was banged up right at the age, the ripe age of 30, and he can't stay healthy because he gets injured during the season. When you're a young guy like 24, 25, even 26, even sometimes 27 years old, and you get banged up, you're young enough that you can heal in between weeks. But if Hopkins goes out there and he's not 100%, maybe he does sit out and gets 100%, but he's not going to have time to heal. And each week's going to come quicker because he's getting older. And there's a real good chance he struggles all year long because of this injury. Not to mention, he was probably very likely to get injured no matter what at 32 years old. That's just the nature of being 32. Derrick Henry at 30 is no different. At some point, Derrick Henry's getting hurt. Not to mention, I'm really getting concerned about the Ravens. The Ravens are going to be, I'm going to have a panic chamber episode on all Ravens. Why are people taking Zay Flowers in round 4? Andrews is a walking injury. Lamar Jackson's losing more weight, and he's trying to play at 150 pounds, it seems. And this offensive line is ranking in around bottom 5 in the NFL, and Derrick Henry's 30 years old. I'm starting to have a little bit of a panic moment about everything Baltimore Ravens. Let's take some calls, dial in. Let's have a discussion about where you might rank Calvin Ridley, mid-5th round, top of round 6. Are you not touching him in round 5 at all? Would you take him as early as the top of 5? Let's do it. Dial in one more time. Here's the phone number.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Travis, you are live. Where are you taking Calvin Ridley off this news? Now, keep in mind, it's not like he's out for the year, but there's some, I think, smart assumptions that you could make that it's not something that's going to necessarily go away, or he just might not stay healthy all year long. So where are you taking Ridley right now, today, August 1?
So the fact that he's already going at 59 means if he jumps much higher, I'm probably not taking a ton of him. I like him. I already like him. You know that.
Yeah.
But that's why I've been drafting him as my 3rd wide receiver in a ton of drafts. He's fallen to where I can get him on a good team as my 3rd wide receiver. And that's where I'm really comfortable. Is taking him in that, end of 5, 6th round. I don't know how comfortable I'm going to be if he creeps into the 4th round, or God forbid, like the end of the 3rd round or something like that.
Yeah. For me, it's like this 5-6 turn. This 5-6 turn, because
right.
like at the end of the day, is Worthy, like, is it more attractive to have Worthy in a KC offense or have Ridley? And I'm not saying Levis can't surprise. I'm not saying Tennessee can't surprise, but they just lost a big weapon. So the Tennessee Titans, as we knew it on July 31st, was different than it is on August 1st. On August 1st, the Tennessee Titans are a lesser team. Unless, he comes back and he's fully healthy. But right now we're assuming it's a lesser team. And so if we're assuming that the role increases for Ridley, then it increases on a bad team that will throw a lot, but it's going to be inconsistency. It's going to be bad throws, not living in the red zone. So I'm going to personally draft Worthy over Ridley. I'm going to draft Keon Coleman over Ridley. Keon Coleman has Josh Allen, and Worthy has Mahomes, and Ridley has Levis and a lesser team. And if it's not a lesser team, if someone says, Smitty, he's not out for the year yet, then why are we having the conversation about Ridley climbing at all? Because if Hopkins comes back and they're the same team they were on July 31st, let's say in week 2 or 3, then you don't have any extra value here on Ridley because you just told me Hopkins came back and he's healthy. So this is like a catch-22, double-edged sword. I don't know that Ridley, as you said, can climb up that much more, or that line in the sand of where he becomes a good value as he rises up. He's going to cross that line inversely, and he's going to turn into a total avoid at some point if he's to go higher than this.
Well, that's why I said, I think this could potentially be the place where I start pumping the brakes on taking him in best ball, anyway, as I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Because all along I've thought, even if, someone gets hurt, they built built in some decent depth by signing Tyler Boyd. So, he's not a superstar, but he can fill in. And, Treylon Burks can run the deep routes, run around the field all day. He's fast enough. So, they lose a very good receiver in Hopkins, but I don't think it changes Ridley's role too much. He might get, some more targets, but I can't see myself taking him if he climbs up a full round and a half from now. And, like you said, because of the players that are surrounding him, I'd rather now shift over to those guys and take a shot on them.
Yeah,
I
think that at the end of the day, for me, I think he climbs from like the bottom of mid-6 round territory where I was taking Coleman anyway. I was taking Coleman ahead of him. I'm taking Worthy ahead of him. He climbs like maybe to those guys' ceiling value, but at the end of the day, I still don't know that I'm taking him over Coleman or Worthy at any point. Not even like in a way to mix things up. I don't know. Maybe I would in one league. Like if I had 3 leagues side by side, I might go Ridley in one, Worthy in one, and Coleman in one. But I'm kind of tending to go Coleman in all 3.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
I just can't help myself. But yeah, it's tough to say. Bring the phone calls in. Thank you very much. Hedge coming in with a $2 hauler says, I think Boyd is a great stash. I wouldn't say great, but I'd say like, you need a body. You messed up in drafting depth or something. He's there. Grab him, sure. But I don't know if I'd say great. And I'm not trying to, poo-poo your idea. I just don't think I want to use the word great with it and confirm that. I'm not Smitty approving great. And then Isaac with a $2 hauler. I've always said the Titans are a retirement home. I think people are overvaluing the Titans' upside this year. I like Levis, but this guy puts mayonnaise in his coffee. And, he comes to work with cannons on his arms, and there's just a lot of unusual. You might say, Smitty, that's weird. He's too strong. Hey, there's a lot of people that say you don't, as a quarterback, want to sit here and be a muscle man. Like you can't. And then, I don't know, there's some quirkiness about him. This goes back to like just envisioning the whole thing working out. I don't know why I can't. I like Levis. He seems good. He's got a good arm. But the situation, I think, is deceptively not what we think it is. I think a lot of people want it to be something special. But I think it's deceptively not necessarily going to fit together. And then this just kicks it in the nutsack a little bit for me. So I just don't know that I like the Titans all that much this year. I like Spears a lot, and that's really it. I like Ridley, but I don't know. And I digest this live. I always tell you guys, I come out here, I don't even have time to think about it. And that's what I love about this show, and I think you guys do too, is that I don't have a script. I haven't even decided what I'm going to say yet. I don't even know what I feel. And as I'm sitting here, and sometimes, writing something out is important. Even if you're doing a trade, I always tell people, like I do the marker board, write it out on a piece of paper. And for some reason, when you visualize it that way, you stack it a certain way, you write it a certain way, you can feel it out. And when I look at this board, is when I went live, when I hit that button, I thought I might be like here with Ridley, like 5.3, 5.4. The more I'm looking at it, the more I see a guy like Worthy, the more I see my boy Keon Coleman, the more I see the potential of an AR5 or a Stroud. I'm going in a different direction than Calvin Ridley more times than not. But that isn't to say I'm out on him. I'm not saying he's a bust. I still think he could earn this territory of value. But I don't know that it can climb much higher. So what does that tell me? He went from what? End of 6th round, mid-6th round to what? He can only climb to the very top of that same round, or it's getting out of control. The hype is going to get too high, and I'm out. So he can only navigate within the round he's already going. That's not a lot of wiggle room.
That's why, like, when I came in, I said I really liked him, and I could get him as my third wide receiver. I'm comfortable with him there. I'm not too comfortable if he's got to be my number 2, because I just look at the list and say, maybe if I'm building a bully quarterback and I go two running backs or something, something like that, maybe once or twice I might have him as my second receiver, but I'm not comfortable with him there. Yeah. Because there's so many good receivers.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous game we play when there's news, and then we want to be involved. There's news, we want to be involved. There's somebody's went on the rise, and we want to just announce him as a Moonman. I saw a lot of people saying, Smitty, does this make him a Moonman? Could he? Look, we loved Ridley last year, and part of me wants to say, what if everything we thought about him last year, it all comes true this year? It's not going to be painful to watch because we're still not out on him. We're still getting small amounts of Ridley, and I have a lot in best ball, so I'm going to definitely relish in that if he goes nuts. But I think we'll want to be on the right side of history and saying that he's a Moonman if he did have that 1 year delay, like Bijan. This year is going to be so exciting for Bijan because it's also a victory on last year. Winning this year with Bijan is going to feel like we're going to stand proud and look in the past and go, we would have won. I'm feeling very satisfied about 2024 and 2023 based on this. I know we want to feel that way about Ridley because we all loved Ridley. I'll even take a lap on how much I loved Ridley walking into the season. He did fairly well. And Travis has said this multiple times. He actually did not have that bad of a season at the end of the day. He was very inconsistent, though. So for non-best ball, what ended up happening for Ridley owners is Ridley owners ended up benching him after some painful droughts. And then he popped off on the bench. Then they put him back in, and then he had painful droughts. And then they put him on. So he ended up being the player you hate the most because when he did good, you didn't even have him in the lineup. Not saying I stuck to my guns on it. So I ended up squeezing out the value that I needed, but it was painful, and it was very inconsistent. I don't know. Calvin Krim with the $5 hauler says, breaking news, practice has been over hours ago, but Quentin Johnston dropped another pass. I heard that Quentin Johnston dropped, he tried to catch a cold, didn't catch it, and so he's going to be at practice tomorrow to drop more footballs. But Quentin Johnston, he can't catch anything. This is the worst receiver in the National Football League. Quentin Johnston, the worst receiver. The worst receiver. He's a liability. Thank you, Calvin. Appreciate you dropping that super chat. And then Isaac with one more says, let's make it a dead zone wide receiver episode. I already filmed it. I was trying to get it up in premiere fashion before today's show. It's already filmed. I'm editing it right now. Wide receiver dead zone video. Is there one? Is there not? Just like the running back video. You'll find out my conclusion on the video. But I was in the middle of doing all that when this happened, so I had to come live and talk about this. So the wide receiver dead zone video should drop tomorrow in a premiere. So appreciate you. Anyway, phone lines are open. Dial in. Hopkins. I don't know where his ADP goes now. His current ADP, if we go over to the ADP board, this is not going to be accurate anymore, but I want to take a look at what it was based on the ADP board here. Oh, it's not going to even show it because I didn't clip it above Hopkins' ADP, but Hopkins' ADP is on Underdog Fantasy going to be a little bit higher than it will be in non-best ball because of the push for oversaturation of wide receivers, but it does start to level out a little bit once we get to where Hopkins' ADP is, meaning that you're going to see a lot of reaches in the early rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's going to be a lot of wide receivers being consumed, less running backs, but by the time you get to where 6, 7, 8 round territories are, it gets back to kind of where the ADPs across best ball and non-best ball are much more close because people swing back around and draft heavier running back by that time in best ball and then it evens out. But wide receiver wise, Hopkins is going at 68 overall, wide receiver 40. Worthy's going 64, wide receiver 38. So that's what I was saying earlier is I'm drafting Worthy ahead of Hopkins right now myself anyway, right? But if we look at where Ridley's going at 59, which is wide receiver 35. So Worthy's going wide receiver 38. Ridley's going wide receiver 35. So currently, this is not my ranking, but currently we're talking about them being like stacked like that. So Ridley's going ahead of Worthy. I quietly been drafting Worthy ahead of Ridley anyway. I've been quietly drafting Coleman ahead of Ridley anyway. So I don't think this news doesn't change it for me. Coleman and Worthy over Ridley all day long. This does not change it for me. Hold on, Travis. Let me go over to John. John, you're live.
Hey, I just wanted to talk about Kyler, but before that, I think Tennessee's done. They're rebuilding. That sucks. Gonna have to wait a little bit longer. But can you talk about the disparity between Kyler Murray's ADP in best ball versus ESPN, and if it's worth waiting if you're at the 11 or 12 spot to take a QB 2 rounds later rather than reaching for him in the 6th round, which is where you'd have to take him in order to get him?
So in best ball, yeah, Kyler's going a lot earlier than in non-best ball, it seems, yeah. What's ESPN's ADP on Kyler that you're seeing?
He's right there with Joe. He's right there with Love, Purdy.
Yeah, on ESPN.
Burrow and Dak go a couple rounds early.
I mean, look, that's great value for Kyler. There's no way I'm worried about that value. But I don't know how many times I can say it, though, that the best pick in fantasy football is Mahomes, though. And it doesn't matter what stack you're trying to build. None of that matters to me. Mahomes is absolutely the best pick in all of fantasy football. So if I'm sitting there at 3.8 in 80 in non-best ball, or 4.10 in best ball, or even 5 to 8 picks ahead of both of those. So in best ball, I would take him at 4.1. In redraft, I'd take him anywhere in round 3. But the better place to take him would be mid 3. I just find myself not straying much very often away from Mahomes, Hurts, Josh Allen, and AR5. I'm not saying I only draft those guys. I love JD5. I'm drafting a bunch of JD5, but I'm getting JD5 in many of these cases as the backup quarterback. And then I'm going to have some trade capability later. But Kyler's a great pick. He's one of the better values in fantasy. We got him on the Moonman list for a reason. Going around 7. Let's see if that's accurate on best.
I think he's 7-7, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's fantastic value. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I think I take one of those other quarterbacks 8 out of 10 times, just because I can't stop drafting them. They're just league winners. I want a guy that can score 40 touchdowns, 45 touchdowns. Mahomes could throw for 40 to 45 touchdowns this year and run in another 5. Mahomes scores 50 touchdowns total this year. And Kyler's not going to, even though Kyler's going to have a really good year, Kyler's not coming close to 50 total touchdowns. Not very many QBs have a shot in hell at that. Hurts has a shot at that. Josh Allen has a shot at that. And Mahomes does. I think AR5 is going to be below those guys, but he has a shot at being the 4th or 5th quarterback in fantasy. And Kyler feels a lot of 5 to 8, 5 to 10, big range. Very good player, but I'm not worried about stacking. I don't need to stack that. Plus, in best ball, I'll draft Kyler as my bully QB in the 7th round and feel fine with it. I'll go Mahomes and I'll still draft Kyler because I have MHJ. I'm fine with that. But nothing wrong with taking Kyler, to answer the question, long-winded. Nothing wrong with taking Kyler in the 7th round, bro. 6th, 7th round, there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm getting Keon Coleman in my apples to apples example. I'm getting Worthy or Keon Coleman in round number 6, okay? And let's say you're taking Kyler there. I'm taking Mahomes in round number, in best ball, it's 4.1. So if it's best ball, I'm taking, we'll just call it Worthy. Worthy and Mahomes, and you're going to get Kyler or Burrow or whoever, and what wide receiver? Zay Flowers? Maybe Tank Dell falls to you. I love Tank Dell. Tank Dell and Burrow does not beat Mahomes and Worthy or Mahomes and Coleman or whoever you feel that wide receiver. Use your own process, okay? Or use your own player. Use my process, okay? If you don't like Worthy, you don't like Coleman, you don't like Christian Watson, you don't like Jaden Reed, use the player you love in round 6. But Mahomes and that player for me might be Worthy or Coleman, outscores Kyler or Burrow or whoever the hell you get here and the wide receiver you're getting here, even if it's my favorite Tank Dell. And in non-best ball is Greg says Patrick Mahomes in fourth is nuts. It is nuts, but it's happening every single time in best ball. Every time. Not once in a while, every time, because his ADP is not 4.1. It's 4.8. So he's cemented in round 4 in best ball. In non-best ball, he goes in 3, no doubt about it. But the same concept here. You give me Mahomes and Worthy or Mahomes and Coleman over a wide receiver you're probably getting here, I'll take it all day long. Over your Burrow and this wide receiver, I'll take Mahomes and Worthy because Mahomes is going to score 50 touchdowns this year. That's it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Well, it's crazy to you, Greg, but it's true. And also take advantage of it because I'm screaming from the rooftops about it, my guy. I'm sitting here screaming from the rooftops, trying to give people the best picks in fantasy football 2024, and Mahomes qualifies. All of these guys qualify, not just in best ball, but in non-best ball. But I do have their ADPs up here so that you guys all know what time it is. That AR5, he has a slightly different ADP across both formats, but he's still win a league capable in the 5th round. You've got Jalen Hurts, who's going in the 4.6 in both formats. So that's dead even. Kyron's going a whole round apart, but he's still a league winner at either of those ADPs for those formats. And HN, the same damn thing. It's pretty, his ADPs are kind of closer, but Mahomes, a big round apart, and is still league winning. Still league winning for a guy that could outscore everybody in fantasy football 2024. So go draft over there, bro. Use the code Smitty if you haven't drafted on Underdog. If any of you want to take advantage of this ridiculous ADP data that's on Underdog right now, the quarterbacks and the running back values, hit that link I just dropped in the live chat and smash, here, I'll pin it, and smash the hell out of some drafts right now. All right, John, you got anything else?
Yeah, one more question on Kyler. I get the whole pass from home and all that. Go for those guys. Don't take Kyler as the number one.
Yes.
Do you think Kyler can put up 2020 numbers? He had like 24 TDs, 11 rushing TDs.
What are you talking like this? Are you talking into your armpit, bro? Like, what are we doing? Can barely hear you.
My phone's had some water damage, so.
No, that now you're clear. You were doing this. Do you think I should? I could hear it. It started to muffle. It was your mouth.
I probably.
There you are.
Okay.
You're clear as day, bro. I wasn't born yesterday. I know what time it is, John. John, the answer is it's a great question. Okay, it's a great question, and the answer is Kyler Murray was a top 5 quarterback in 2022, all the way. I think he got injured in like week 10, if I remember correctly. And he was, if you extrapolate that top 10 the 10 weeks of Kyler Murray in 2022, he was number 5. If I remember the data correctly. So we extrapolated 10 weeks into 17 from 2022, and he would have been number 5. So to answer your question, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know why? Because he was kind of looking amazing, and he had no weapons last year. There were times where Kyler looked really good. I think it was top 10 quarterback numbers extrapolating last year when he started getting going, but he doesn't have Zay Jones. At that point, he doesn't have MHJ, who's going to make him look like an absolute surgeon on the field. It's going to be a wild ride. Cardinals are going to be really, really good this year, and surprisingly good. But it's a tough division to grab a wild card spot in the conference is going to be near impossible. But they're going to try and do it, and I'm going to be there for it. But Kyler could 100% be a top, I would say 6 to 10 QB. But there's overlap, right? Could AR5 be 5? Yeah. Could Kyler be 5? Yeah. There's overlap. Could Hurts be 4 or 5? Possible. Probably not. He's probably going to be higher than that. But is there overlap? Could Kyler be right there with Hurts? It's possible. But the upside for Kyler is that overlap floor where they meet. And AR5 and Hurts and Burrow, AR5, Hurts, Josh Allen, and Mahomes all have 1 to 5 upside. I just want that, bro. I want that to carry me every single week. There's a reason I'm a big early quarterback advocate, because first of all, I've done this a long time. There's a lot of people that have just started in this business. And when I say started in this business, I mean like their first 5 years professionally, they haven't endured the cycles of the running back's dead. The running back's dead. No, it's not. It's a cycle. And when I say the running back's dead, you probably think I'm talking about the last couple of years when people have said that. I'm talking about when Zeke Elliott entered the league. People came out saying, the running back's dead. It'll never return again. There's no more workhorses. And I know it's false, because everything's a cycle. It evolves. The running back position evolves as all PPR and rushing now, instead of just being Derrick Henry all up the gut. Now you have players that are very diverse, but the running back's not dead. The workhorse is not dead. We have so many workhorse running backs now. People are out of their minds. But early quarterback, I've been an advocate of early quarterback for 23 plus years, because I've seen the cycle. And last year, it didn't serve people well. Early quarterback failed people because Burrow got hurt, AR5 got hurt, quarterbacks got hurt. They didn't score as much. Mahomes kind of had a bad year. Josh Allen was fantastic. Hurts was fantastic. But you know what? It, in general, failed people to go early quarterback. So you know what people are going to do? Run away from it this year off of 1 year, when the previous year, early quarterbacks served best ball data. So everyone talks about the data. I'm a slave to the data. The 23 data says don't draft a quarterback early. The 22 data showed that it was a good idea. So it's all a cycle. There's constantly things that circle back around. And I'm telling you that if you draft Mahomes in 3 in non-best ball, or Mahomes in 4 in best ball, you have the greatest chance of winning your league in 2024. Barring injury, Mahomes is going to destroy everybody. These Kermit the Frog memes and the Raiders, what a bad idea. What an awful idea. There hasn't been a worse idea in the history of mankind since, I don't know, maybe putting Quentin Johnston in as a wide receiver for your team. Other than that, there hasn't been a worse idea than trying to pull up a Kermit the Frog puppet and tease one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time right before he's about to strike vengeance upon you in your division and go win a 3rd straight Super Bowl. Mahomes is going to destroy everyone this year. Everyone.
Mashed potatoes.
Let him cook.
Thanks for the time.
We'll see you later, John. Appreciate you. Young, you're live.
Hey, what up, Smitty? I was wondering if you saw this video in particular, and if you have any concerns about it. But I think it came out pretty recently, but it's Xavier Worthy, like in press coverage, just getting tossed around ragdoll. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Look, it's one play. I think it's really good for him to have experienced that, because he needs to know how tough the NFL is. And a guy like Worthy, and it's good for the coaching staff and the offense, and to see what he needs to do, where he needs to be, the situations you don't want to put him in. He's also got to develop how to use his strength to the best of his ability and not get, hit from the side like that, so he goes tumbling and rolling. But this is not a problem. Tank Dell and Worthy, Tank Dell proved you can survive at a smaller stature. There's zero problem. The only problem is people believing what they see, like, you hear about Algier? You hear the Algier news? You know how many times people are wasting my time throughout the day DMing me? I don't respond to it. When someone DMs me on Instagram and says, what do you make of the Algier news? Sorry, I'm moving on. Call in to the show. I don't have time to say over and over to somebody, hey, don't listen to one word, one sentence that comes out of a coach's mouth when he's asked directly about a player, when he's told you all off season long that Bijan's getting fed. We're not going to be able to give him the ball enough. We want to get him the ball every single chance we get. Oh, Algier, yeah, he'll still be a factor. Oh my God, did you hear that? The Algier news? I had 2 or 3 people the last 2 hours telling me, okay, I'm not going to go Bijan anymore, right? What are you talking about? So, like, Worthy, but people are looking at Worthy and they see him get leveled when he gets thrown around the field. But this is one clip that today there's a video clip of him breaking off a 70-yard untouched touchdown catch from Patrick Mahomes. Are we talking about that? No, we're talking about him getting clotheslined. And he's smaller. He's got to learn these things. But Worthy is going to be. I was not on board, I admit, as much as I should have been. But it wasn't August 1st. I'm not worried about hitting everything and liking everybody before we see them on the field. We sometimes need to see what's going on, how the team is going to use them, how quickly they develop. And in July, before the cutoff, we jumped on board. But Worthy's looking primed to break out and have a monster season. I'm worried 0%. I think Mahomes is going to feed everyone. Worthy's going to the moon. He's going to be a moon man.
He's
going to be a moon man.
Worthy. Who was your other guy that could possibly be getting there too on the list? It was from yesterday.
I don't know. If you think about it, let me know. But hold on, Young. Let me go over to Matt Biaggia. You're live.
What's up, Smitty?
What's up, Biaggia? Hurry up.
I just thoughts and prayers to Deontay Foreman. I know he got flighted out of West Virginia to the hospital. I know he hurt his neck, and
he sounds fine. Yeah.
I think he's okay. My question for you is, for doing like puppies or slow puppies or whatever, how do you get unique where you're kind of different than all these, 100,000 other teams out there without, sacrificing ADP?
I mean, I everything I preach every day, Biaggia. You clearly are not here enough. You need to step up and watch more shows. The running back, yeah, you do. The running back, drafting against traffic. I'm not saying draft a position, best player available, but best player available 8 times out of 10 is making running back look absolutely like highway robbery, even in best ball. And all these people that are saying you can't win that way, you got to go heavy wide receiver. They don't believe in the receivers that we see falling very far. This rookie wide receiver pool is going to grace us with some saviors in fantasy football. Leggett could be one of those. I'm just throwing out a couple. Maybe Ridley remains low in value, and we were able to take advantage of that. The Colemans, the Christian Watsons, the Jaden Reeds, the cuffing of love to Christian Watson and Jaden Reed and Wicks, get all that entire stack going and not spending even a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 round pick on any of that. And then that can carry you. I've drafted teams that have Coleman, Watson, Jaden Reed, and Wicks with love, and has Josh Allen, and then I use Kyron and HN and McBride. I've got a team that has that in best ball, and I love it. I love that my wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 are Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Wicks, and Coleman. You don't know even who's the guy, but I have a loaded team, in my opinion, surrounding those guys I like, and I think I'm going to do damn fine with that team. I think that team's going to be glorious, and I'm okay with that. And the tripod, as Alan said, the tripod. I'm not scared to, in best ball and especially non-best ball, go running back, and then on top of that, go quarterback in round 3. And here is the tripod.
The tripod, likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, consists of drafting one of Allen, Mahomes, or Hurts to go with one of these round 1 running backs and one of these running backs in round 2. The tripod.
Not scared at all of that. All right, I gotta wrap up here.
I look forward to we're in a slow puppy together, so I think you're a couple picks away, or you might even be up. But I'll see how you do.
All right, Biaggia, appreciate you
later.
All right, Jimmy 44, make it quick because I got to come back and do the 8 p.m. show, so I got to get off and prepare for all that. Hit me with it real quick, Jimmy.
All right. What do you think about McConkey? You like him?
Not really.
How come? He's a sole receiver with the Chargers. He's a good route runner.
Is he the sole receiver for the Chargers? I don't think so, bro.
I mean, who's gonna take him? Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston?
Well, they have Palmer, Johnson, Rice, and a coach that loves to not really have any superstars. He loves to spread it around. He loves to run the ball more than anything. You got Herbert now injured and likely going to be ready for week 1, but he's already hurt as he suffered through that all year. This is a run-heavy team with a small wide receiver in McConkey that I liked a lot coming out of college, but he had to land in the perfect spot. He did not. Everybody thinks it's a perfect spot. He's just going to get peppered with targets. They got vacated targets. But they also ripped away a majority of the targets that they're going to deploy. This is not like Josh Allen, who has 58% of the target share leaving Buffalo with Gabe Davis and Diggs being removed. 58% of the target shares up for grabs in Buffalo. That's why Coleman's going to the mother freaking moon, bro. Off that alone. But what do you have
You're telling me on Coleman so
what
much.
do you? Of course I am. What do you have in LAC? You have a bunch of vacated targets. Oh wait, you don't, because we're gonna reconstruct the whole offense. We're gonna pull all those targets back anyway. I'm not saying McConkey doesn't have upside, but he was in the bottom 30%, if I remember correctly, in a ton of measurement matrix coming out of college in size and I think weight. And he's going into a situation where you don't know what role he's going to play. You don't know if he's going to be in the slot. Are they going to have him not on the field all the time? Palmer's got he's comfortable with Herbert. Herbert's comfortable with Palmer. Palmer does have the slight edge to be the number 1 wide receiver there, even though people don't want to pretend that he does because they want McConkey to be the guy so badly. They clearly don't want to give up on Quentin Johnston, which is a mistake. So I don't think that this is a clear. Just because everyone wants McConkey to rise up doesn't mean he's going to in this situation when they're not going to necessarily saturate him. And he's a smaller guy. He's a very raw player. And if he landed in Buffalo, it'd be different because he'd get fast-tracked like Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman wouldn't be good in LAC, bro. That's unfortunately the nature of fantasy football. Situation is a big part of it all. And Keon Coleman is going to be tiers better than he was based on his landing spot alone. You can't separate landing spot from player. Situation and player are the same. And until somebody accepts that, they're going to hold on to things and have a bad evaluation process. They're going to say things like, but, it's a situation. McConkey's better. McConkey's not better. And you can't separate it. It is what it is. They're one. Situation and player are one. What?
He only had 500 yards in college, which was shocking.
Yeah, he's not, bro.
He's like 700.
Bro, McConkey is not going to be an elite player in LAC. I'm sorry, he's not. There's no room for it. As much as people want him to be because they've already drafted him. All the people chirping about it, especially, and I don't know if anybody's in the live stream doing that. I apologize if I'm calling you out like this. But the people that are chirping about it own him already, bro. That's what it is. You're hearing a loud group of people, and if you could rip off like a patch right here that says whether they own them or not, every person yapping is like dynasty owner in 4 leagues, dynasty owner in 3 leagues. Of course they're going to talk them up. It's like talking to a Caleb Williams fan. Oh, are you a Bears fan? Yeah. Okay. That's about 90% of it.
Right.
And I'm not saying, just for the record, Caleb could have good yardage and stuff. What?
Do you think Keon Coleman is going to be the wide receiver 1?
In Buffalo? Yes.
Yeah. As much as Josh Allen likes to throw, it's incredible.
Yeah, have you seen this little number? By the way, everybody, I have made the Keon Coleman video even better. I have already enhanced it. I have already made it longer. I present to you, everybody on my phone line, be quiet. I present to you the new and improved, the extended by about 20%, maybe 30%, the new Keon Coleman drop. I want to say that's like a minute long. I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop.
I like that.
But anyway, it was supposed to be longer, but I was like, I got to cut this short just in case someone new comes in right when they're watching that. They're like, is this a advertisement? Like, what are we watching here? But anyway, look, I added Kincaid to it. I added Josh Allen to it. They're flying through space together, arm in arm. Anyway, I got to go here, guys. John says, where you rank Dak, Burrow, and Kyler? I'm going to say Dak, and then Burrow and Kyler are tied. Dak's got Lamb. He's got a more explosive offense overall over, I think, both of them. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, Burrow, it depends how healthy Burrow is. You got Chase holding in right now. There's a lot of complexities there. Injury risk. I think Burrow's going to be fine, but you do have to worry about Burrow keeps getting hurt. Jamar Chase, and there's some risk level. Lamb's holding out. That sucks. Maybe Kyler outscores both of them. I would say it's pretty close. I would probably say Dak, Kyler, Burrow, almost neck and neck. I might put Dak slightly ahead just because of what we saw last year, and I think he does bring that thunder as long as Lamb gets inked really soon. Thank you, John. Appreciate the question. Jimmy44, call back during the 8 p.m. show, all right?
Smitty, you are the freaking best, man. You real quick, the entertainment that you provide and just your knowledge and just everything is phenomenal, man.
Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate you. See you.
See you, bro.
You're dismissed until 8 p.m. We'll see you back here, though. Young, we'll see you later. Come back at 8, all right?
All right, Smitty, sounds good, bro. Thank you.
Later. Travis, any final thoughts? Then I got to hit these super chats, then I got to go.
I'm sure we'll hit on it at the 8 p.m. But the Herbert injury, that's a risky one. That could linger. That could be a little worse than what's on the surface. So
and it just puts a bunch of dog crap on top of an already smelly situation. Yeah. Calling at 8 p.m. We got a lot of news I couldn't even get to the news because of this Hopkins. So we got a lot of news to break, and then there's some rumors about Ayuk. Maybe a deal could get done today, but then Schefter went on and clarified that they're not close. So, there's the whole dapping up where yesterday there's a video of Shanahan and Ayuk like dapping it up, and you might say, okay, they're just going to do that. No, they see each other every day right now. This is not the first day that they've been out there practicing. So the reason that they went up to each other, Shanahan gave him a hug, and they like dapped up and they like hugged and they looked excited. It was like either Shanahan was saying, happy for you, man. You got what you wanted. We'll miss you, but just happy for you. Or it was like, glad we got a deal done. This is going to be good getting you back out here. I don't know what it is. Maybe that was happening and there's a new hang up. I don't know. But there's something brewing, says a lot of people, and Schefter says no. So we'll talk about all that and more at 8 p.m. I'll see you there at 8 p.m. Thanks, Travis. Okay, wave. Oh, this one's good. This one's maybe one of the worst takes. Waiver worthy, Cody. I mean, if you were to say, hey, I don't know if he'll be as good. That's what waiver wire worthy.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Take a deuce. We got to put this up on the board. This isn't going to age well for you, pal. I'm sorry. Thank you for the entertainment, though. Let me go back over to these super chats, get these off screen, and then we're out of here. And then we'll be back at 8 p.m. though. Drafting on Underdog while listening to you. Number 2 pick took CD, HN, Kyron. Bro, how do you do that? I've done it before. But like, how do people let us do this? How do people let us get Jamar Chase or Lamb and get Kyron and HN? Okay, so appreciate you. Ziggy named after the guy in Quantum Leap.
I missed something.
Kind of.
Can you say it again?
Ziggy, are you named after the guy from Quantum Leap?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything. $5 holler just got to the show. It's better to try to be early than late on the old guys. Ridley season is Will Levis a sell? I mean, if you could sell him, I don't know that anybody's going to be buying Will Levis, but maybe in Dynasty people are excited about him. I don't know. I'd definitely sell him. Definitely. I'm not a big Will Levis guy. What percentage of ownership do you aim for your guys? That boy, I am not in agreement with the rest of the world. I don't care I'm not one of these people that uses the math and data the way that other people do, where they carry it from year to year. Everything is fluid. I always tell you to stay liquid. And this is not one of those situations where it's like you put it at an X percentage. You do. If my gut tells me Bijan's the guy, I want 50% ownership of him. And someone can laugh at me all they want. I could give two shits. If I miss, I know what I'm signing up for. I try and get you guys to diversify more than I do. But I know what I'm signing up for. A lot of times people watch me and they'll bank on something and then it doesn't work. Someone gets hurt and then they come back and they go, I'm not watching this show anymore, because they want to blame me. I know what I'm signing up for. If I have 40, 50% of Bijan, I'm happy. I'm not dialing it back because I noticed a weird trend. I obviously feel that way. And if I land it, I'm so much more likely to win a big tournament because I've got tons of shares of Bijan. So there is no number. The number is whatever you want it to be. And anybody that tells you you shouldn't have more ownership than blah, 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 then they think differently. That's not for me. That's not for me. Those people probably can't stand me. But I don't care because I'm not in it for them. I'm in it for you guys. I'm here for you guys. Where do you rank Dak, Burrow, and Kyler? I already got that one. John, thanks for that super chat. This is a tough one. I kind of go back and forth on that one. Smitty, can you send Quentin Johnston some stickum? I don't know that a stickum would help him, bro. You just get him caught together and then he at the body catch. He body catches anyway. He gets stickum on his hands. He'll be this. You throw it to him and then he'll go like that and catch it anyway because he's a mother freaking body catcher.
He is a body catcher.
That boy, appreciate you, my guy. Smitty, can you send Quint? Oh, that already got to that one here. Where is it? What percentage? Already got to that one. Okay, final super chat. There go. Already got to all these. These are all done. Okay, good. I'll see you all at 8 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate every single one of you. Every single one of you. MHJ video. You didn't clarify which one, but I'll end it on this one.
Hi. What would you like? Footballs, please. Lots of footballs, please. Coming up. He's Marvin, he's 11 feet tall, and he loves to consume the football. He's Kyler, he's 4 feet tall, but Star and Marvin will answer the call. They're Kyler and Marvin.
See you all at 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. I'm live at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that show is upcoming. This is a separate show. This is a live breaking news show because I additionally go live whenever news breaks, and we had breaking news, so I went live. I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is about an hour and, 10, 15 minutes from now. See you all then. Thank you for my super chats. Thank you to all of you that dropped something. Hedge, Isaac, Calvin, Isaac, Rockout, Ilphil, Jaime, John, That Boy, and Justin. Thank you all for dropping those supers. Appreciate every single one of you. And I'll see you all at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you.